But you were calm, but still just very assertive. Like, I need you to look up at me and just walk towards the bed. And it was like, I felt like I was in safe hands when that was happening, so.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Cole Life. Today we are joined by two incredible women and amazing guests that we have a lot of questions for, but honestly guys, I'm not even close to being qualified introducing them, so cue
This is our birth team. They were with us in, us having Aza in our home birth, which is like our #1 YouTube video.
You guys are stars.
You guys are stars. A lot of you have asked us questions about our home birth, and we've gotten a lot of misconceptions on what that looks like. So we want to introduce our birth team and for them to just answer questions for you guys of what the truth is of home births or just births in general with a doula and a midwife.
So please strap in because this is going to be juicy, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel and hit us up on Instagram @_thecolelife_.
I am Heather Robinson. I am a midwife. I am a certified professional midwife, so that has the initials of CPM. I'm also a licensed midwife because now in the state of Michigan, the credential is recognized by the state, so I am an LM. I am from Detroit, raised in Detroit. I practice in Detroit and its immediate surrounding area. My business name is Birth Beautiful Detroit, and that is also my Instagram name. I've had my own practice for 7 years now, but I've been doing birth work for close to 24 years. The birth of my own daughter, which was at home, is what inspired me to become a midwife. She will be 24 this year.
You have to give them one of the stats that I was a little astounded by about African American midwives in Michigan.
So I am one of 4 midwives of color in the state of Michigan. Of those 4, 3 of us live in Detroit.
Nice. And how many babies have you delivered?
I have to do my numbers again, but close to 400.
I'm sorry, say it. 400 babies.
That is insane. And this is Jen. She actually goes to our church. So this was I was super fortunate to have Jen as our doula and our lactation consultant, but please give your credentials as well.
I'm Jennifer Day. I am a birth doula and board certified lactation consultant. I've been serving families for the past 13 years in breastfeeding work and for the past 20 years within birth work generally as a doula. And over the years just have been super blessed to be able to serve families. Here in Michigan, there was a very low number of Black lactation consultants. I think back then, 13 years ago, there were 3 in the state of Michigan and well over 200 lactation consultants.
Wow.
And so it definitely ignited a passion and a fire to begin my journey in the work. I have a private practice entitled Feed the Babes, www.feedthebabes.com. and on Instagram as well, _feedthebabes_. And with that, it includes breastfeeding work, childbirth education, and birth doula support.
So COVID happened, NBA shut down, everyone starts freaking out in the country about 15 months ago. And we pivoted hard because it was 3 weeks prior to Lexi's due date. Lexi and I had a conversation because the hospitals were not going to allow both a doula and me, the husband, to be in the delivery room.
I don't think it hit until I realized that people were having these scary stories of their husbands not being able to come in or nobody being able to come in, not even having a doula that we paid for to come and help us. So that was concerning.
Reality slapped us in the face of like, what are our options? And so we went down a journey of exploring options. And that's what led us to conversations with these two amazing women. The hospital just almost didn't seem like it was even an option anymore at this point. And so we had a lot of questions because there was myths that we had heard about and needed to see if we needed to debunk those myths. There was misconceptions about it and concerns that we had about all the what ifs that everyone freaks out about.
And they also, I want to make this clear, like, this was not my plan. This was not something that I was thinking about doing. I thought it was nice to see. So for me to switch into that, I had a great team, and that's what I really want to talk about, is like what a great team looks like, what a great birth team looks like, and what does that look like in our family when we are thinking about having a home birth or just a birth in general with a doula and a midwife.
So let's talk about some of the questions that we initially asked, because there were some things that we had to break down.
Before, there were questions that I had about a doula, and I didn't know until I actually talked with you about what exactly do they do. So
I think one of the biggest things that folks will ask is this like replacing the dad? Like, my partner plans on being there, so is this just something that single folks do to have a support person there? I enjoy having candid conversations of, no, this is what a doula's role is, and it is not replacing the partner. It's adding like an extra layer of support to ensure that there is advocacy centered, there's emotional support, there is access to education that supports informed decision making, along with physical support, emotional support, spiritual support, all of it. It's like this whole loving bubble amongst the entire birth team to just really empower and support in a really holistic way.
I know you help during labor, but there's so much more that you help with before that.
Yeah, so it's really helping with creating a birth plan. What does your ideal vision of your birth look like? What do you want? What are some things that you are aware of? Also, really introducing maybe some things that you're unaware of that are tied into birth, so that you can do your research and see what it is that you want for both yourself and your child. And then, so that's all included within prenatal visits.
Even if you don't have a home birth, a doula for advocacy is huge, right?
Especially for a Black woman.
Yeah.
So I think just being real and honest, for those that deliver within a hospital setting, a doula is even more so needed. And then for folks that are giving birth at home, or maybe in your case, that wasn't your plan, it's kind of like, okay, what do I expect? What do I do? How do I lean into this to really progress and see change and all of the things? It's getting out of your mind, getting out of your head.
And I always appreciated the check-ins of, hey, how are you feeling? What do you need? I would say that was both of you guys as a midwife and a doula. Now to you, Heather, what do you do in birth? What is your role?
The role of a midwife, it actually is more than just birth. There is, I am the primary care provider. And so I am doing prenatal care, the birth, the labor and the birth, and then postpartum care. So during a birth, my role is to make sure mom and baby are still healthy. I am a midwife that very much believes in the process that we have been designed to carry out. And so I just assist the process and its fruition to baby.
Why are people so nervous about the concept of a natural birth? In your opinion, in your experience, why do people like mystify this concept as if it's unnatural to have a natural birth?
You have generations then that haven't experienced a natural birth. Then it becomes the normal for a group of people. It feels like it's so far in history that it no longer pertains to the people that are here.
In my mind, I thought, I wouldn't mind having natural birth, but I was just like at a hospital, not at home. And so not hearing that was very, different. We also want to make it clear that we know that there are definitely different cases for people that cannot do this and know they were not able to do this. So this is for people that are interested in doing this and want to consider it or have questions about it.
Some people have babies in the ambulance. Some people have babies, like in the hospital. Sometimes people need, cesarean sections for babies to be born. The midwife is making sure, which is why this is the important part about the prenatal care, is making sure that the pregnancy stays healthy so that we can continue this birth at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a difference that I saw with an OB, because I felt like my OB, and this just my experience, my OB appointments were maybe 10 minutes?
It was quick.
10 minutes. Every time Heather came over, it was an easy 45 minutes. It did not, it was no less than 45 minutes.
I thought we had been done, and she was like,
no, we have more.
To talk about.
Because it went into diet, it went to my exercise, and we watched videos, we listened to PowerPoints, like all of that was a way more information than I got from just going to OB. Because a lot of times for me, I felt like that when I went to OB, they would ask us, like, do you have any questions? And this is my first baby. I'm like,
I don't know what to ask.
I guess not. I don't know.
Tell me what to ask.
Tell me what to ask. And so what I loved about a doula and a midwife was that you guys came with information, even if I didn't ask for it. And it was like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. Didn't know that. Had no idea. So in our experience and what happened during our birth was there was a moment where I had to decide about breaking the water or going to the hospital. And I was at a very low point.
That was a rough moment for both
That was
of us.
a rough moment. And I think that you had so many things in your head of what was going on and what was happening. And in my mind, I'm like, I just don't know what's going to happen next because I haven't been progressing. And I think you knew the answer to what was going to happen, but I didn't know the answer. And you knowing the answer really helped me get to that place. To me, that was a definition of like balancing everything out and you knowing the answers to things and trusting the team that you have. So
what if this happens? What if the cord's wrapped around their neck? What if she's bleeding too heavy? What if there's so many what ifs. People think that when you're in an at-home birth environment that you're putting yourself out there for like danger to happen and have no backup plan. So can you speak to the what ifs?
First of all, when you interview a midwife, that's one of the questions that you'll ask a midwife because it's going to be reassuring to you if your midwife has seen all of the drop downs.
Yeah.
And most midwives have if they've been doing it enough. And so yes, all to the above. Like they've all been seen and they're all able to be handled at home. A cord is very, very stretchy and elastic, and the baby has been bouncing around in there all during pregnancy, and the likelihood of it being tangled in the cord is very high. And so if they're born and if there's a cord, you just unwrap it from the baby's head.
Yeah.
And babies are birthed through the cord. So you either unwrap it or you somersault the baby through it. This is addressed prenatally as far as nutrition. So if you have mom's iron stores up, then if there is bleeding, the likelihood of mom completely passing out is lowered.
I technically like hemorrhaged with mine, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
So I got really lightheaded and I didn't realize it. But I could tell that like you started to get really assertive with how you were talking to me. Like, I need you to keep your head. I was like, what's going on? Like, but you were calm, but still just very assertive. Like, I need you to look up at me and just walk towards the bed. And it was like, I felt like I was in safe hands when that was happening. So
would you say that all the what ifs that people are concerned about, that the majority of them are still handled in the at-home environment?
And there's some what ifs that would require us going to the hospital. What if the cord washes down before the baby? That would be a transport to the hospital because the baby would compress the cord, and that's the baby's lifeline, until their birth.
And I think hearing that was calming for us because what I didn't want to hear is, oh, we'll never have to ever go to the hospital. We're going to do everything here. Like that was one of the myths that I had in my mind was this is someone who is never going to want to touch the hospital, never want to interact with the hospital, and that like the hospital is bad. And that was my concern, that you wouldn't know when to like let that process go and say, no, this needs medical attention. And the fact that you reassured us like, no, I know when the line is crossed. That helped calm my nerves.
I genuinely think that people also have this thought of, my husband needs to be with me the entire time. Like if he falls asleep, if he does this, then I'm gonna be mad. Like I'm gonna be so, and that's not the case because of, honestly, all the information that you told me about. So I wanted you to share that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful tapestry that works in synchrony with one another. And so the role of the doula being part of it is literally a part of it. So when dad is like, I need to rest, they tap out. and then another person supports. And then a doula also taps out, like in your birth. I was like, Heather, I'm gonna go take a nap.
I'm tired.
I mean, it was 32 hours, so it was a long time, and it was at night. So it's that moment where everybody's up during the day, and then of course I start at night. So it was
the thing about it is, Mom is doing the work. She's running a full Boston Marathon. It's really shifting the mindset of what we're so used to in hospital settings of birthing on our backs, in the bed, and not really moving and just waiting for a baby to come. And in your setting, which was so beautiful to witness and experience, was you up and moving and walking up the stairs 25 million times and going for a walk outside with contractions.
Jen had me moving. I was going up and down the stairs. I was taking walks.
Dance
I was
party.
Moving. Yes, dance party.
She was actually trying to get low in labor.
No, y'all were trying to make me
That
get
was,
low. I was not trying to get low.
That's while I was taking one of my naps.
But also knowing that I have the energy to do that, but you necessarily don't have that energy to do it. And is it because of like oxytocin? Like, what was that?
Yeah, it's like a hormonal cocktail that's happening in your body. It's giving you this adrenaline thing that just encourages you to keep moving when you don't have the energy and the capacity.
There's like this picture that I have that I absolutely love that represents like our birth, but it's literally all of you guys in the room doing something. Like Brian needed help with me just as much as, as he wanted to maybe be by myself or whatever, but he needed the support, and I needed everybody to be helping. Like Brian was in the front, Jen was in the back, like my cousin was spraying me with a water bottle. Like it was so many people were there to help. But I also wanted to talk about like just the energy in the room and how important that is too.
Maintaining a safe space along with keeping the atmosphere there for oxytocin to do its work, and making sure that there's like peace and calm and the lighting and the mood and all of that is really important, along with like comfort measures to really like there's in the hospital setting you're familiar with like the pain scale, right? Like on what would you rate your pain within a home birth setting? And also if you have a birth team that's supportive of this in the hospital setting, it's like, how are you coping? And so your birth team in your birth was really fire with maintaining this amazing space of comfort. So I mean, Brian was all the way in with hip compressions and back reverse counter pressure and all the things because your body needed it.
Yeah, and you say that there's and this is something that I heard from you because I've talked to multiple doulas, and you were talking about the levels of like movements or type of, what do you call them? I can't think of the name of them, but things that you have that you would use.
Lots of tools in your tool belt. There's tons of things to be able to work through in terms of comfort measures that are there. And we're gonna pull some of those out and see what your body likes. And what you
I think you had like 25 of them that you were thinking of before you even think like none of them is working. It's like we have 25 different tools that you use.
Think about if we did not have a doula, what would we have been trying to do to help alleviate the pain?
Just walking.
Like I would have just been hugging her like, I'll massage your shoulders and hold this. Nope, that didn't help. Okay. You gave us specific positions, specific pressure points, specific ways of twisting and shifting.
And I would say both of you guys help with different ways of just not letting me think of the surges. Like I was thinking of, pressure on my foot. Like you just would do something with my foot that like squeezed it and made me think of something else. So it wasn't even just like the taking the pressure away. It was just redirecting my mind in a way, in bodily form, I guess. So when should we call a midwife and doula?
Okay, I got to take this call.
Yep.
Go ahead. All right when I asked Heather that question, she had to leave because she has a birth to go to. So
literally couldn't plan that timing any better.
Yeah,
she's gone.
She's booked and busy, y'all. So Yeah, but what I love about that is that she heard it and left. Like, that's how dedicated she is. She was like, I don't even got 5 minutes. I need to go right now. But I would say, to answer that question from what I've experienced with Heather is, I know that booking her in the beginning is probably the best. Like, as soon as you realize that you do want a midwife, to as soon as you're, find out that you're pregnant, and that way you can start the process of just making sure that you have a healthy labor and delivery. And then also, she was with me 6 weeks after my baby was born, so I didn't have to go to a pediatrician until 6 weeks after the baby was like a month, and she did the shots, she did everything, she did the blood work, she did all of that. So yeah, appreciate it. Heather, if you watch this video, we appreciate you too. But I thank you for even taking the time out to come, because it is not easy. Putting these two people together is very hard. So I'm thankful that you guys can come on. If you have any questions about doula work or midwifery, put them in the comments, and hopefully we can get Jen and Heather to maybe answer some of those in the comments. You guys might be available if you can.
Let's go.
But yeah, I would love for you guys to answer questions. And if we can't get them right away, I'm definitely going to send them over and we can answer them for you. So,
but if you haven't actually watched our home birth on YouTube, make sure you click this link, because it will show a little bit about what that process looked like in home. And it was a very beautiful experience.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching because it shows a different depiction of what a home birth looks like. So we love you guys. Talk to you later.